You're listening to the Otis Jiry channel. The Long White Rope by Tonia Brown, performed by Otis Jiry. I recently visited my cousin on a cooling autumn evening, meaning to reconnect with her and her young, shy daughter. I found them playing in the backyard near the edge of the forest. My cousin said she was tired, though of good health and mind. Her daughter, Mary, not so much, for she appeared ill and sickly as she played near the edge of a darkened path, bordered by a long white rope. Her mother called out to Mary to mind the long white rope, for it set a limit that kept the child from wandering off into the evening. I wondered what had happened here, which left young Mary so sickly. Perhaps some accident that had maimed my cousin's only daughter. Before I could inquire, my cousin asked if I would mind not going past the long white border into the darkness of the forest. It wasn't safe, she said, the endless dangers of that forest. I said I wouldn't go, but asked about the need of the long white rope. My cousin waved away the question, laughing, saying never mind. It was too bleak a subject to discuss on such a beautiful evening. I agreed, yet kept a careful and close watch on her daughter, who moved along among us like a phantom, so pale, so thin, so sickly. Later, as I lay in bed, I thought about the child, how she seemed sickly, so pale and light, like a spirit flitting place to place in the shadows of that forest. I wondered about my cousin and her clinging love for her only daughter. I also imagined something terrible had happened beyond that long white rope. I needed to discover the truth. I slipped out into the evening to see with my own eye and make up my own mind. So I went beyond the border, the one my cousin said to mind. Before long I came across a sight that left me as sickly as the young and troubled Mary. A deep and rocky maw yawned into the evening. I glanced down into a natural chasm in that dangerous forest. At the bottom of the pit, beyond the long white rope, lay the skeletal remains of a child, my cousin's own daughter. Only, as I leaned in closer, I knew it wasn't her daughter. The bones were too large, the tattered dress too big, and never mind that she hadn't fallen into the pit beyond the long white rope, but the child had been pushed. A fact I realized too late to stop the sickly feeling of being shoved by little hands over the edge, past the dark forest into the pit. I cried out as my bones cracked and shattered the quiet evening. I looked up through tears to find the daughter staring down at me just as ever sickly. I told you to mind the border, my cousin said, then followed Mary back into the forest. They carried between them a long white rope and left me alone in the cool of the evening.